Well guys, it's hard for me to make this video, but I think it's finally time for me to stop talking about Sonic games. I've just made way too many videos on Sonic the Hedgehog, and I just want to try something else. I hope you understand. So today we're talking about every Tails game. First game I'm covering today is Tails' Skypatrol, and this game actually approaches the auto-scroller genre in quite a clever way. Instead of the screen moving at a set speed all the time, you can choose to go faster or slower whenever you like, adding a sort of risk-reward system. This is great for speedrunners, or a better way to put it, impatient people. It's me. The game only has 5 levels: the training area, Sonic Heroes Zone, Ruinwood, Meadow Island, and Dark Castle. I'm not sure why each environment only has like 1 level when they could have used the graphics to make multiple levels, but I guess I'm glad they didn't drag it out for the sake of playtime. Actually, they probably did, because this game is hard as balls. You basically have 1 hit point in this game. Touching any sort of wall whatsoever will result in death immediately. It's just that if you get hit in the air, you can still mash the A button to save yourself from hitting the ground. You also pretty much die immediately if you run out of flight, which can only be replenished by finding and collecting mint candy throughout the level. Yeah, it's pretty punishing, but I mean, it's the Game Gear. They have to get their playtime somehow. Of 2 hours. So you'll notice that Tails is always carrying a ring, and this is how you're going to be collecting items, defeating enemies, and swinging off of poles for extra speed. It's a pretty cool mechanic for a game like this, especially because it's a single thing mechanic. You can't collect items while attacking enemies, so that's a nice trade-off to everything. You have to make a split-second decision in the middle of gameplay, and this makes the game pretty fun and fast-paced in my opinion. You fight a boss at the end of each level, and it's kind of lame. You just mash your ring attack at them and win. I don't think I've lost once. It kind of feels like a scratch game. Anyway, next up is Tails Adventure. So, Tails Adventure is a sort of Metroidvania? I mean, sure, there's a bunch of linear levels here, but you unlock them completely out of order. You're also going to be encountering a bunch of paths you can't access yet throughout the level, since you're expected to backtrack once you've unlocked some new gadgets. This can be a bit of a hassle because of the linear level design, but the developers usually make it worthwhile to replay the whole stage again. Did I touch this, and did that make like a really annoying sound? Did that ruin the whole take? Gadgets are found throughout the level, and they're pretty hit and miss. Most of them are used to actually progress through the game, which is nice, but there's some optional ones that are pretty useless. Like, why would I ever need a spin dash in Tails Adventure? I mean, it's cool that it's here, but this is not the kind of game you'd need this for. They're not all bad, though, because some of these gadgets are genuinely really cool and provide for some pretty clever gameplay, in my opinion. You start out the game with a simple bomb to throw, but later you unlock the remote bomb. It has less range, but it slides along the ground and only explodes when you press the action button, making for some pretty cool puzzles throughout the game. My favorite's gotta be the remote robot, though. It's a mini version of Tails with infinite flight, but it can't do any damage to enemies or explode obstacles to unlock new pathways. This thing makes for some very clever puzzles, though, especially for helping Tails progressing through the level. See, some areas have these random-ass gushes of wind, making it so Tails' flight is pretty much useless. But this makes for some pretty cool puzzles that have you sending out the robot and making him drop some kind of platform for you to continue the level. I was actually surprised by how many cool moments there were that had me using this mechanic, especially since some of the other gadgets are pretty lame in comparison. Now, the progression in this game is actually the thing that weirded me out the most. It's a big connected world with backtracking as if it were a Metroidvania, but it also has a map screen where you can select the level you want to go to, as if it were a linear platformer. It always puts you at the start of the stage, suggesting it's a linear level, but for some stages, there's no ending. You're just expected to walk back and go back into the stage entrance and return to the map screen? I don't think any other 2D platformer works this way. It's actually insane. Would the game have been better off as one big 2D map, though? Well, no, because what you do on the map screen is actually way cooler than just selecting a new zone. Whenever you're done exploring a world and return to the map screen, you get to access Tails' lab. Here you can save your game, basically acting as a checkpoint, switch out your gadgets for the next level, and maybe coolest of all, dock up your ship to explore the sea. The cool part is that you're able to equip gadgets to your submarine the same way you're able to equip gadgets with Tails. So some of the gadgets you find throughout the level aren't meant for Tails at all. They're actually for the submarine. And just like Tails' gadgets, a good few of them are actually needed for progression, like this power-up which lets you jump over these waterfalls. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually love this backtracking. It's a bit more awkward than other Metroidvanias because you're sort of stuck in the middle of a linear level, but it's still a lot of fun in my opinion. So yeah, Tails Adventure is a really unique game, one that we've never seen before and will likely never see again in the Sonic franchise, and I definitely recommend you play it. Oh yeah, really cool, Luke, a video on the Tails Game Gear games. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I mean, I love the Game Gear games. Who do you think I am? I said every Tails game. Tails and the Music Maker is a 1995 game for the Sega Pico. It's kind of similar to Mario Paint in its content. Each page contains a different music-based minigame, including musical chairs, some side-loop tining minigame, eat your heart out Sonic for Tears, and a memory game. I think. I put that in the script, but I don't think I actually ever double-checked. If there's no change in the footage, then I'm just a bad YouTuber. You should, like, unsubscribe from my channel and not join my memberships. The Pico was quite an unorthodox game system. Instead of having simple game carts, each game was its own little book containing different pages. I have no idea how it works for other games, but for Tails and the Music Maker, it literally showed an illustration of the minigame on the page, and turning to the page would swap the minigame. I guess. It's a weird gimmick and sounds like a non-developer friendly way to set your system up, but whatever. The actual music making part of the game is actually very unimpressive. You have to time your notes on the beat in order to place them all, which is kind of hard to do with a stylus. And you also can't even play any sharp notes, making some songs literally impossible to play. If you ever feel down, just know that Tails and the Music Maker feels like the only thing it has going for it. Anyways, I think that's it for this game, so what's next? Every Tails game. This is Tails No Flying Get. Yep, we're talking about Sonic Cafe. This game actually isn't playable at all, unlike some of the other Sonic Cafe games, but luckily for us, some of the info and screenshots online should give us an idea of what it would have played like. A lot of the sources tell us that it was a single-player version of the Tails minigame from Sonic Battle, so assuming it strived to be a one-to-one recreation, it would have looked pretty much exactly like this. Yeah, we sure have had some pretty obscure games so far, but I'm sure it can't get any... Yeah. So I'm just gonna clump all these LCD games together. You better be ready. Basically, if you've ever played or seen a Game & Watch game before, you'll probably be familiar with these things. They were released as small McDonald's games, I think from Happy Meals, but, you know, I wasn't alive, I wouldn't know. Tails' Skypatrol was released in 2003 and features Tails flying through the sky and collecting rings. After getting all 3 thumbs ups from collecting enough rings, you win. But if you miss too many rings, you fail. Yeah, these LCD games didn't really have that much going for them because, well, they kind of have to be mass-produced by McDonald's, and that process doesn't make things more pretty. Oh, but here's the big one. The reason you clicked on my video, ladies and gentlemen. Tails Soccer! I knew it was going to be an LCD game for McDonald's, and I still got let down. Yeah, all you do is block the balls kicked at you by the Chow until you win. He's not even kicking! Anyways, Tails never does a sick-ass backflip, so this is false advertising. Tails Sky Adventure, the second one based off a Tails Game Gear game. So, in this game... Wait, he's actually in the tornado this time? And you get to shoot at the enemies instead of just collecting rings? This is awesome! I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Overall, these LCD games are... fine. They function exactly as they should, but they're fundamentally just not... fun. And that's it. That's every Tails game. And I can finally go back to watching videos about Sonic the Hedgehog again. How convenient.